Toasties. This is your favorite paranormal podcast, Ghosted, Roasted, and Toasted. I'm Ash.
I'm Elena.
And I'm Annabelle.
Where we explore, investigate, and discuss all of our ghosted adventures,
while sharing our specially designed cocktail for the night.
Come laugh and drink along with us in our misadventures.
And feel free to roast us along the way.
I'm Annabelle. I'm the one who got us into this shit.
I'm Ash. I never wanted to do this shit in the first place.
And I'm Elena. I love this shit. Just a quick disclaimer, we are a rated R podcast. If you're uncomfortable with cursing, sexual content, and a dark sense of humor, now is your time to back out. If you are cool with that, then let's jump into today's episode.
Welcome everyone to our second podcast. We appreciate all 4 of our followers. Hi, Mom.
Today, we're going to talk about our experience at the Stanley Hotel. Our experience, not what we've researched, not what we know from The Shining, our true, authentic experience. And it is a doozy.
Yeah, speaking of doozies, before we get into the Stanley, can we talk about my poop adventure?
Oh my God.
I had to go.
I legitimately thought you were gonna shit your pants.
Have you ever like, you know, everything's fine, and then all of a sudden you get that little tinge, that little ting, that little twist, if you will, in your colon, and you're like, oh.
Am I the only one who's super uncomfortable with poop talk? I feel like I'm the only one.
Why are you uncomfortable? You have a boy.
And he knows. Like, I don't like farting or pooping or
Oh, God, my husband farts and talks about his poops 24/7.
I know, but I don't know. I guess where did I get this? If you didn't raise me to be this way, who gave this to me?
I don't know. That's weird. Because even your dad, I mean, he.
No.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I mean, I know everyone does.
Hashtag Elena, everybody poops.
Okay, can we be done now? Wrap your story up.
So anyway.
Wrap it up.
So I had to go. We're in the middle of literally freaking nowhere. We drove around the main square of the little town before you get to Estes Valley like 5 times.
Trying to find a bathroom.
Could not find a bathroom. We found a porta potty.
You're welcome.
And Ashley keeps wipes. Thank God, Ashley keeps wipes.
You're welcome.
Oh, also, just to let you know how big of an emergency this was, the speed limit in Estes Park is 25 miles an hour. Mom was going about 70.
When you gotta go, bitches, you gotta go.
She was literally driving and rocking back and forth, going, I'm not going to make it. I'm not in a good space. I'm not in a good space.
Y'all don't even know. You
don't have to explain it too much.
You don't even know. You don't even know. All right. So that was my poop adventure. Thank you, Ashley, for having wipes. Thank you, whatever little town that was before Estes Valley, for having a porta potty on the side of the road.
Also, thank you for having no jaywalkers, because she would have ran your ass over.
Knees to chest, bitches, move.
You would have found yourself as a ghost in the Stanley Hotel.
Yeah.
Alright, so back to so first impression of walking into Stanley, I was dumbfounded by how amazing it is. Now, it is a resort. So you're going to walk in, there's a bakery, there's coffee, there's magic shows, there's a check-in for magic shows desk, there's the ghost tours going on. You go upstairs, you see the first Stanley steam engine car model. I don't know if it's the first one, but it's at least a replica. People everywhere.
There's a little souvenir shop. People everywhere, yeah, for sure.
This is not just a hotel.
This is a resort.
This is an experience.
It is an experience. You're absolutely right.
It's an experience.
Right.
They want you to. They thrive off their haunting, and they try to do everything.
Which is funny because they told us that they're like when they had Stephen King change the number in the book because they were afraid it was going to scare guests off.
Right.
And so they made him make up a room number that doesn't even exist in the Stanley Hotel. And quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite happened for him.
Now notorious for being haunted, and people love it.
So can we talk about Elk Battle Royale?
Oh my God.
That was intense, man.
So I don't know how many times people have to be told this, but wild animals are not a petting zoo. They may tolerate you. They do not like you. Doesn't matter how tolerant they are, they still do not like you.
Because the key word here is wild.
Wild.
Animal.
Wild. There is elk, at least when we came, all over the Stanley grounds. There was like probably at least 30.
Just chilling, walking through the parking lot. Hey, what's up?
They're quiet. They do seem docile. They're so docile.
I was on the phone FaceTiming my girls, and I looked past my phone, and there was 5 elk walking. They had to have been 5 feet from me. I really could have kind of reached out and touched them.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't give a fuck about me because I was just standing there minding my own business.
Right. So we go outside. We're looking at the Hedge Maze, which they only put in, I think they said in 2015, they had just put the Hedge Maze in. So it's not very tall. You can see your way out. But they're working on it, you know.
They put it in because it was in the movie.
And everyone kept asking about it.
Yeah, they're like, why is there not a maze? And they're like, fine, fuck it, here's a maze.
It's going to take years to grow, but here it is. So anyways, I was going to check out the Hedge Maze, and then I see all the elk, and it's just a really cool experience. I think there's something more beautiful than like seeing wild animals with the mountain backdrop, or even horses. I love seeing horses with the mountain backdrop.
And cows. You love cows.
Yep. But be smart. Keep your distance. Give them space. Be respectful of the fact that this was once their land, and they're going to migrate towards it. Also, we have really good grass, I guess. I don't know. So
They probably do.
Probably.
Sure.
So they walk right past us, and they go into, I'm guessing, what is probably the swimming pool because of COVID, and it was also chilly. It was concreted over, so it was just this concrete pad, and then there was like really nice fresh green grass in there, but there was only one way in and one way out. It's a fenced in gated area, but the gate was open. So I look at Ashley because I'm like, oh, my sweet little Texan, my sweet little Texan.
Don't pet the elk.
She's like, I'm going to get really close to go get a picture. I said, okay, just make sure you don't block him in. She's like, oh no, I'm absolutely going in there. She's being sarcastic. I'm like, okay,
I'm not a fucking idiot.
Because how many times every year there's a video of someone in Yellowstone getting trampled by a buffalo?
I know.
Getting attacked by a bear.
Don't pet the fluffy cows.
Don't pet the fluffy cows. And don't get close to murder deer.
Right.
So Ashley's joking. She goes and she takes her picture, and then I see this lady walk into this fenced-in area, and I'm like, oh, it's about to go down. And sure enough, you can see that in the pictures Ashley will post. This elk is eating its grass, minding its own motherfucking business, thinking it's a great day.
Mm-hmm.
It's
What a great day to be
an
alive.
elk. Yeah.
To be an elk, right?
And he looks up and he sees this bitch blocking his exit.
Oh.
And he didn't even hesitate. He charged. I mean, immediately just took off. There was no reluctance.
I hate that I missed this.
Oh my! It happened so fast, and so all of us I didn't, because I'm like, you won't get to what you're going to get. But everyone else started screaming, and it kind of took the elk by surprise, and so the elk stopped and looked at everybody else, and then charged again. And she still stood there. If you're listening to this podcast,
Crazy lady.
come on, common sense. She still stood there, so we had to start screaming to her, get the fuck out. And we distract the elk again, and then she gets out. And then the elk goes back to his business. You know why? Because you're blocking his exit. Don't be that lady. Don't.
I don't understand these people. I really don't.
Oh, but it was so entertaining, though.
It was entertaining. I should have recorded it, but instead I took pictures, because in my mind I'm like, Channel 4 News is about to show the fuck up, because this bitch is gonna die, and it's gonna be my moment to shine. I'm gonna be that person. I'll be like, I was right there, and then we were all like, whoa, 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 and then the guy was like,
And she'll just be like, I synced it all. Hey,
Nobody got time for that.
I synced it with my own eyes.
look, can I just say something to our toasties out there? Dude, if there's a tornado coming, if you see or a hurricane, or there's been a wild animal attack, and you see the van pull up with Channel 4 on the side of it,
Put your bra on.
and your teeth in, put your bra on and your teeth in, people. What's wrong with you?
I swear they picked the dumbest motherfuckers.
They look, which one is fucked up on drugs?
Which trailer looks the worst?
They think, which one's going to give me the best story?
That's right.
So that's what they're thinking.
Which one's gonna make me go viral?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's my favorite one.
Oh my lord. Yeah, that was great. That was a great story.
So the next thing that we ended up doing was going to our room, getting settled, and we went to go eat. We were hungry. Well, actually,
starving.
did we ate first before we got to our room because we got there early, did we not?
Our room was not ready.
Yeah. So we brought a little luggages with us into what's called the Cascade restaurant. It's also the whiskey bar. It's really pretty in there. It is expensive, but it's not you're blowing your vacation money expensive. But I would say to expect spending about $30 a plate.
30 to 50 a plate. Well, with cocktails.
No, I think each individual meal was $30 plus cocktails were $12.
I don't remember. I think I paid for it, but it was fine.
Yes, you would spend a typical amount that you would at any resort.
Elena's cheap.
I didn't say it was out of. I said it wasn't that bad.
Said it was really expensive.
No, I said it wasn't super expensive.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't super expensive.
Okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah, it wasn't super expensive.
She's so judgmental.
I thought the food was good. I thought we got what we paid for. At least on my plate, it was
What'd
good.
you get? You got the game.
The
meatloaf,
yes,
right?
yeah.
It was like elk and buffalo and
moose
and some wild pig or something.
Yeah, some wild pig or something. It was really good. It was a little different than a normal meatloaf, but it was really good. I liked it.
I didn't like it at all.
I don't remember at all.
Oh,
what
yeah,
I
you tasted it.
I don't remember what I had. I just remember the drinks.
You and I both had steaks.
Imagine that.
You and I both
we
had the
did.
medallions.
Yes,
the
with
taters.
asparagus and potatoes.
Yes, the
I even took a
taters.
picture of it.
Potatoes
And
were
the
so
carrots. The carrots, yeah.
good. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
really good. So the cocktails were great. They do tell you they have the largest selection of whiskeys and single malts.
But if you're like me and you don't want to spend $30 a plate, there's also a McDonald's like half a block away. I'm just saying.
That's true.
You don't have to completely.
You don't have to spend the money, but
We wanted the whole experience.
Yeah, we wanted the whole experience, and the food was good. I thought it was worth it. I thought
it was
a good
worth
meal.
the money for sure. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I would eat there once, and then we're getting McDonald's for dinner.
Yeah,
Ashley,
yeah. I agree with that.
yeah.
You should do it once for the experience for sure.
Once.
So after we ate dinner, our room was ready, and what room did we stay in again?
201.
201. That's right. So we go up the stairs. I took the elevator. Remember, you guys took the stairs, and I took the
That's
elevator.
right. So the elevator's supposed to be super haunted, so we wanted someone
I
to
took the elevator.
Did you?
It's so small.
It's so small.
It's cool though, because you can see the old pump, like the little
Yeah.
old hand pump they would use to move you to the rooms. It's really cool.
It is a really cool elevator, and I'm super claustrophobic,
Same.
but I was okay. Of
Yeah,
course, I was
'cause
only
we-
on one floor.
one floor.
I wanted to go on the staircase because of Dumb and Dumber, and the staircase is kind of eerie all on its own.
Yeah, they say the staircase is haunted.
The nice thing about the staircase, though, is it is gated off to the general public. If you don't have a room, you can't go up there. So it's like the first break from the crowd,
Right.
and it's really cool. It's just all these, like, I'm sure there's significant people in these pictures. I don't know who they were, and mirrors, and just the red carpet. It's just, I thought it was really cool.
Very beautiful.
And then we were the first room.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
literally the first room.
Which, I don't like being near the elevator. I don't like being near the staircase because you hear everyone. And surprisingly, we didn't really hear people.
Not too much.
Maybe because people were being respectful because I know people are sleeping and stuff. But
Yeah.
there really wasn't a noise problem.
No, it wasn't too much.
Go ahead.
But in our room, once we got in there, we put our stuff away and whatnot, and
And honestly, it's kind of a bland room. There's the bed, the white walls, a lamp, and then the bathroom.
it's laid out funky though, right? Because the room is actually sizable because there was 2 queens in there.
Yep.
And dressers and whatnot, and then there's this weird little hallway that the bathroom is in. It was
A little hallway and then a bathroom attached to it. So you
Right.
had 3 little spaces, kind of.
right.
Yeah.
So it was laid out
Best
a
way
little.
to explain it is it kind of looks like an upside down J.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I love that the windows were like floor to ceiling. You could lift up the windows because I was so hot because I was being attacked. in
If
the
you're
middle of the
too
night.
scared to leave the room and go all the way back downstairs and check out, you can climb out your windows easily.
Oh yeah.
And just get the fuck
Fuck
out
out.
of there.
Peace out, bitches.
My favorite part of the room was the picture that was in the room, which was the Stanley before there was like stuff around it, and it was just 3 women walking
Yeah.
up to the Stanley, and I was like, how perfect
Right.
that this is the picture in our room.
That's true.
It fit us perfectly.
It did.
It is perfectly.
So we were actually pretty tired because all the Ghost Adventures and the drinking from doing the Molly Brown house the night before. Maybe that was just me. Sorry for how drunk I was in the first episode.
Yeah, I don't think Ashley and I we were tired, but
We weren't exhausted like we were a little later on in the
a
night.
little later on, yeah.
But we only had about an hour, I think, until our ghost tour started. So we were like, let's get out the spirit box. Let's see what we can get. And we'll put those recordings. We do have them. We'll put them on the Facebook. And it's hard to hear because of the static. They make it look a lot easier in Ghost Adventures.
I know, right?
A lot of it we were kind of guessing. There was some that was very clear.
Very clear. And the growl.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You got
the
growled at.
The growl was not through the spirit box. That was out loud.
And I'm not sure that we got that on one of the recordings. We'll have to go back and listen. But the growl, it freaked me out, dude. Like, I'm not even going to lie. It was more than once, too. It
Yeah.
wasn't just one time. It
Growled
was,
a couple times. Well, I heard the second growl. I didn't hear the first one.
yeah. It was
So
pretty...
that was kind of set the tone for the room, I think. The spirit box, it said some things. It said a name, Bridget.
Bridget!
We'll get to that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Um,
She rolls her eyes at me.
Damn, dude. Later.
I think it did tell us to. No, is this the time it asked for you?
No, at night.
That
At
was
night
earlier.
it did.
Okay. It was just it was words. A lot of them didn't make sense at the time because we hadn't gone on the tour yet. We normally kind of do this always before tours, though. We'll try to get stuff before and then see if anything clicks on the tour and then come back and be like, oh my God, they said this and then that happened before. So, anyway, so then we went on to the tour and
So we left our room about 30 minutes before the tour was going to start because they said be there 30 to 15 minutes early or something. 15 minutes.
Right.
We want to make sure we have plenty of time.
And we wanted to hit up the gift shop.
Yeah.
and it closed at 6, I think.
That's right.
Ooh, I got a really cool red rum mask.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
And in pictures it says murder, right? Because
Right.
it's inverted. So
It's awesome.
I got my kids these little ghost stuffies, and when I asked the lady, she's like, what would you like? I said, oh, I'd like 2 ghost stuffies, please. And she got kind of offended that I called them. She's like, what did you call them? I was like, stuffies, like stuffed animals. And she's like, oh, they don't like being called that. And I was, she said that.
I didn't know
But
that.
she said it like in a funny way, not like an attack me way. And I was like, oh, okay. And then as she wrapped them up, she said goodbye to them. Like, they're full into it at this place, man. I was just like,
I didn't know that.
I
That's
almost
crazy.
didn't want to give them to my kids. I was like, fuck, man, what did you bring with me?
Right.
What did you just give this ghost?
What did you do?
did they say goodbye back?
That would have been concerning.
I would have been like, keep the fucking ghost out.
So we did leave our room about 30 minutes before. So I think we left our room at like 5:30. Tour started at 6, right? And we didn't get back to our room until 6:15. So that's significant. So that's an hour and 45 minutes. So you're shaking your head no. I mean 7:15.
Okay.
I mean 7:15.
Yeah. That's
Yep. So an hour. So that's like an hour and 45 minutes. So that's significant.
Time
Later on.
to be away.
Yes.
But when you go through the tour, it's really cool. So you go down there, and there is the dollhouse from the Stanley, and it is the Stanley, like, but in the movie, right? The dollhouse. That's it. I think it's. I mean, I don't know about the first one. The second remake of the Stanley, it's in there, and they have the second remake of the Stanley playing. And I think the reason they have that remake, one, Stephen King wasn't happy with the way that the first Shining movie was done.
Which is shocking because I love that version.
I mean, most people do, but that's probably not how he envisioned it.
Right.
So the second movie was more in his idea, like what he thought the movie would look like. And that one actually was filmed at the Stanley.
Right.
So they're playing that one, I think, because it was filmed at the Stanley. And you just kind of sit there and you watch it as you wait for the tour to start. And everyone kind of starts to like come in. You got little name tags, the typical ghost tour stuff. And then...
So can I say when I feel like a bad person, never judge a book by its cover. I loved our tour guide.
Yeah, I'll say at the very beginning I had some concerns.
Jim was just kind of quiet.
His appearance made him seem like he might be extremely quirky. And maybe he is, but the quirkiness worked, right? It worked for the tour. His personality was really great, so I enjoyed him a lot.
Well, the thing is that he was very friendly in the very beginning.
Yeah.
The reason I was reluctant is because he seemed very, didn't seem like he was a very social person.
Right.
Like, I don't think he has a lot of interaction with people outside the tour, is kind of where I'm getting at. And so I was just thinking, like, okay, this is going to be an awkward tour.
Agreed.
And I was absolutely wrong. I loved Jim.
Yeah, I love Jim
So much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jim was like, I think one of my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Tour
guides.
guides.
Yeah. Okay, Holly comes first for me in New Orleans, always.
Well, the fact that we still remember her name,
I
like
know,
9
all
years later.
all these years later, right? But Jim was really great. So the first place we went was to the concert hall, which we talked about a little bit. We didn't really get anything upstairs other than I did hear the tink on the piano. And then we went downstairs, and that's where things got a little bit interesting. So we went to Paul's room, basically. Of course, we didn't know that that's what that was at first. I didn't get a whole lot in there. Some people said they did feel some things, some other people on the tour guide, on the tour, but I didn't get anything in Paul's room. They say that, they can see him in the mirror sometimes, and he'll move the chairs because they store some chairs and things in there now. But I didn't really get a lot, to be honest with you.
I did get something. We were walking down. Well, I got a feeling we were walking down to the room because that corridor was dark and long.
Yes, it was.
And I just kept waiting for something to move at the end of it. But that could just be paranoia.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do dark spaces.
Yeah. So the next room you go into is the Lucy room. That's where they found Lucy. And at first he kept the lights off. He's like, who wants to go in? And normally I'm a little bad, like I'm not a badass, but I try to pretend like I'm a badass. And I was like, oh, I'll do it. I don't even care. I started to walk in and I heard, it sounded like something very small just dropped. And I freaked out.
Oh, yeah. It sounded like a penny or something, right? Like that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I freaked out. I was like, I turned around and almost went face first into the wall behind me.
So the coolest thing about this room was that Jim does a very interactive, I don't know what you call it, interactive experience. There we go.
Yeah.
Like Ashley says, it's an experience.
So he's like, so the whole time he's carrying around this jar, this bucket of lollipops, and you just keep thinking if you make it through the tour, you're going to get the lollipop.
That's what I thought. This was our reward for surviving. That's what I thought.
It's actually not the case. It's for Lucy. So you go into this room, and he explains the story of Lucy about how she was the squatter and how she died because they kicked her out and she died of hypothermia. And he's like, but occasionally Lucy likes to come out and play, so he has everyone hold out their hands, and he puts the lollipops like,
which is a dum-dum.
Right. It's a dum-dum. He puts it like upside down in her hand, standing up. So the stick is standing up, and he's like, hold your hands out and just wait. And I can't remember. I think mine moved when the lights were on.
Yeah.
And I felt it start tilting one way and then come back up again. And I'm freaking out. It's not, you can put the dum-dum in your hand and you could probably push the top of it and you can feel the movement. But it's the energy that you're missing. Yes. And you can feel the energy. And I freak out for a second. So Jim kind of starts getting closer to me and then he shuts the fucking lights off.
Yes.
And Ashley loses it.
I go, we're not friends anymore, Jim.
That's so awesome.
And he's like, I never said I was nice.
Yeah, he sure did.
And so we're all pitch black. There's no light coming
You cannot see in front of your face.
And then Mom's lollipop starts moving and she starts freaking out. And he's like, let's see if we can encourage her to do more.
It vibrates.
Yeah, it's weird. And so
here's what I like about Jim. The minute it started moving on your hand, Jim came over to Elena and started talking to Lucy. He was like, Lucy, is that you? Move it some more, Lucy. And he was encouraging her to try and get it to move more. And in my mind, I took another step away from Elena. I was like, yeah, make hers fucking move. Don't touch me, Lucy. You stay the fuck over there.
So, but it was just like the smallest little vibrations. I probably wouldn't be able to catch it on video or prove it. It's just what I felt. Anyway. So he pulls out his phone. He's like, well, let's play her favorite song, which...
Can you guess? Anybody? Going once? Going twice? Lucy in the sky with diamonds.
So he starts playing that, and at that point, mine start shaking, yours start shaking. I hear someone else gasp, and like, we're always the loudest people on the tour. I'm sorry for the tour with us, but
not really.
Hold on.
Sorry.
We are the loudest?
Bitch, you loud.
I'm not loud.
Bitch, you loud.
In comparison to everybody else, everyone's always dead silent. Like I don't know how these tour guides do it because it seems like no one's having fun. Like they're straight faced and silent. And they just whisper amongst each other, whereas we're like interactive. We talk to the tour guide, whatever. And then it's just because we're more comfortable with it. I don't know.
Maybe it's because we're just cool.
So I heard someone else gasp a couple times, but they never came out and said if it moved or not. One guy threw the lollipop at Jim, was like, oh no. And then Jim just was like, I'm not stupid. Oh, going back to, so when I first heard something drop in that room, and the ironic part is that he gives us candy, right, to play with. Right. The only thing on that floor was unwrapped bubble gum.
Oh, it sure was. It was
and
unwrapped
that's
stick
exactly
of gum.
what it sounded like.
And it was stiff.
Yeah. So it was exactly what it sounded like when I picked it up and dropped it on the carpet. It's exactly the sound I heard when I walked in. But there was nobody in there.
Yeah, I didn't put those two together until you just said that.
Crazy. So yeah, Lucy room, super fun, super interactive. And just the tour itself, I love when tours are interactive.
And towards the end of that building, as you're exiting, there's like a little open area, and that's where we took the pictures, where you could get behind the little cutout of the wooden cutout, and it's of the twins from The Shining, and you put your face in there, and we'll put those on Facebook. We've got some of Elena and Ashley, and some of, I believe, me and Elena.
Yeah.
Ashley don't like being next to me. I see how this trend is going now.
She
Just-
caught
She
on.
shrug your shoulder at me.
Maybe you
I
smell.
love it when a plan comes together.
She said I wear deodorant, bitch. At least I don't wear that all natural shit you wear.
It's better for the environment.
Whatever. Not better for my nose.
Okay, boomer.
I'm the boomer? Oh, okay. Elena just pointed at Annabelle. Let that be known.
Let it be known.
So then we go into the room, we go into the dining room. That's when he tells us about Miss Wilson and the explosion and how and he shows us this. I wish we could find it. I wonder if it's posted somewhere online, but there is a picture of a woman in a big white ball gown dress coming out of the kitchen into the ballroom. And it's clear as day. It's insane. And we took so many pictures in that one. Again,
I
we didn't get anything.
No.
But yeah, it's when we found out about Miss Wilson, the gas explosion, how she's decided to still go back to work. And then the next place we go to, and I'm really surprised my mom made it in this, the tunnels underneath the Stanley.
Woo, they were
I
tight.
forgot about the tunnels.
So you are literally underneath
The Stanley.
the entire building of the Stanley.
And it's being held up
oh,
by the flat side of a 2x4
no kidding.
on a rock. That's it.
Legitimately.
A shim on a rock.
Did
Yep.
anybody else, like, their stomach just was like a pit with the minute he said that? And I was like, this thing's coming down.
No,
Yeah.
because I'm not claustrophobic.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Hello.
Yeah.
But there's
Hello.
like, it's like little tunnels down there for the reason being that you don't see the help, right? So they would go downstairs and they would follow those tunnels and they knew which tunnel led to which part of the Stanley to bring either the food or laundry or the kids, like whatever it was they needed to transport. They would go downstairs so they were not seen, not a bother, not thought about. And it's just dirt. It's just dirt, tunnels, and rocks. Like, it's awful.
It was
Yeah.
creepy.
But it's really cool.
I did get touched down there.
Yes.
So that is the one place on the tour where we actually had kind of something happen with or to us, other than the lollipop with Lucy. So he was telling about, I want to say his name was Jacques.
Yeah, or
was-
Jean-Pierre
it was
or something.
Jean-Pierre.
Was it
So
Jean-Pierre?
it was
Yeah.
a French name, known to be a French man who likes the ladies
A little too much.
a little too much. He gets a little handsy, and sure enough, my hair got
And he
pulled.
prefers blondes.
And he does prefer blondes, and on bottle. And it, I'm not gonna lie, and he pulled my hair, significantly tugged just one little section in the
Apparently,
back of my
he's
hair.
known for shoving men who are standing beside beautiful blonde women because he gets very jealous.
I didn't have any of those beside me, so
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, so if you go down there as a couple,
Be careful.
you now are a
Be
throuple,
careful.
Especially if you're blonde.
especially if you're blonde.
Yeah, so we took a lot of pictures down there. Didn't get anything that we could see in any of the pictures, but I did get touched. So
Yeah. And I mean, actually convinced Ashley to go down a little cave to get all the way to the back. I'm very surprised. There's a picture of us. We were trying to get a ghost, but I'm really just more surprised I got Ashley in this really tiny crevice.
Then I fucking turn around and you bitches have fucking left me.
We did?
Yes.
Well,
'Cause
maybe
then
we did. When
I
the
was
house,
like,
when the
I'm
house
out.
is gonna fall on the Wicked Witch of the West, we're gonna move.
yeah,
Yeah. Fuck you.
Glenda.
Cause then,
Glenda.
dude, guys, seriously, I had not been so scared in my entire fucking life when I turned around and no one was fucking there. I'm like,
Oh, no.
at that moment, something was going to creep the fuck out of this darkness that was behind me,
Oh, shit.
and I fucking booked it.
Are you sure that's the most scared you've ever been?
Oh well, yeah, fuck you.
That story in a second.
So that kind of wraps up our entire tour. We didn't really go into the rooms. I think there's probably a lot more that we could do, but they do try to keep you away from guests because people will tag along in the tour or probably interject, and it just becomes a very uncomfortable situation. Because there's a lot of people who don't believe in the ghosts. They are just visiting Stanley just because it's a beautiful resort, and we've had that experience before in New Orleans where people are shouting at us like, "This isn't real. You
Yeah.
are being conned."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we'll say that a few months before we went to the Stanley, some friends of mine, they went to the Stanley, and they rode their motorcycles up there, and my friend Steph, when she found out we were going there, she sent me this picture, and she's like, you have to take a picture by the mirror in the hall on the second floor right before you go down the stairs. I said, why? She goes, this is what was in my picture. She said it was only me and Lone Star as her husband. Lone Star was taking the picture of her by the mirror. It is not him in this picture, but there is a picture in the picture in the mirror is another man, and it's not her husband. She says, I swear 100%, Annabelle, there was nobody else up there. So she's like, stay on the stairs, which was so funny. That was kind of right beside our room, actually. But
Yeah.
but I didn't get anything in the mirror. I did try to take some pictures there. I didn't get anything. But with Stephanie's permission, I can post it on Facebook. It was creepy. And it definitely is not her husband. So.
Yeah, that is weird. So then after the tour, we go back to our room to kind of drop off our stuff, and then we're going to do some stuff in the room. And as we open the door, I hear this noise in the bathroom. Now remember, the bedroom's huge, so you have to walk in, go down the hall, this little hall. It's probably like 6 feet long, and to go into the bathroom. But I hear this like shh noise. So I walk into the bathroom, and I go, which one of you guys left the sink on? And all of us were like, none of us.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Both.
No, you said, who washed your hands and left the sink on? And I thought, I didn't wash my hands.
Y'all fucking nasty. Nasty bitches. So, but the sink was both handles completely like on full blast. And here's the thing, our sink was kind of clogged.
Right.
So I timed it.
Uh-huh.
And tell your doctor if you've got shit going on. So So I timed it, and to fill that sink up takes 8 minutes to fill it to the top. 8 minutes.
And
now,
it was slow to drain.
And it was slow to drain.
We were gone for how long?
An hour and a half. Hour and 15, hour and a half. There's no possible way, if one of us had left that sink on, that thing would have been overflowing. Water would have been coming out onto the floor, pouring over.
Right. No
for
possible.
a while.
No
possible way.
So here are our two options. One,
Ghost.
housekeeping came in and thought, let me scare the shit out of these girls.
Right.
And turned the sink on. 2, ghost.
Well, we knew it couldn't be the staff because they get fired in first. Like we talked about this. There's
Right.
a no warning fireable offense for playing hoax on people. So
That's true.
there's absolutely no way staff came in and turned it on.
Also, because it's COVID, they can't. No one's entering rooms right now while you're staying there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And there's no way we left it on accident without realizing that we left the sink on full force before exiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how Ashley walked in and immediately just assumed that one of us left it on from washing our
Well,
hands.
she
Like, we're going to
froze.
wash our hands.
She
Yeah.
was walking to the bathroom and she froze in that little hallway and was like, she wasn't even inquisitive. She was pissed.
Yes.
She was like, who left the sink on? And I was like, what? And she's like, who left the sink on? Annabelle, did you leave the sink on? And she's like, no. And then she's like, Elena, did you leave the sink on? No. She's like, the sink is on. I was like, how bad? You're like, bad.
Yeah.
Immediately, I'm like, this is a waste of water.
No.
No, immediately I was like, oh, we've been ghosted.
Yeah, that was
That's probably the most physical thing.
that you've experienced with us, but nothing compared to Merle's Plantation, what we experienced.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's the most physical. I mean, I've seen apparitions, I've seen shadows, I can talk to spirits and things, but as far as like a physical thing, oh, that's not true. When I was a kid, the stove turned on and the TV turned on. That's a whole nother story.
Fly across the room with you and Dad one time too?
Oh, yeah, that's true. His iPhone flew off the dresser into the bathroom, took a sharp left, and ended up in the middle of our bathroom in our old house in Corsicana.
Oh, hell no.
And my dad, he's not into this shit, so his mom was like, did that just happen? And Paul went, nope.
Nope. He goes, nope. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that just happened. Can't deny it.
Yeah. So, what did we end up doing after that? I believe that we
After
started
that,
We
I
took a
had to
nap.
pee.
Oh.
No. I had to
doing...
pee.
That's right.
And then your fucking mother.
It was funny.
Annabelle comes around the corner.
Quietly.
Quietly.
Tippy-toeing.
Did not even hear her. I'm washing my hands after peeing because I'm not fucking gross. And what did you just say, boo?
I just said boo.
And I jumped and I went, fuck.
She ended up in the corner in the fetal position with Tourette's. That's exactly.
Scared the living shit out of me. I think I died at that moment.
Oh my God, it was hysterical. Oh, I've never been so fucking like
so
it's
mean.
hysterical. I've never been
And
so
then
entertained.
you just started peeing with me in the corner.
We're all family.
Well, it made her laugh so bad she had to pee.
Hey, look, I'm old, man. When I gotta go.
When she laughs, it's coming. Right, like
Right
There's
then.
no stopping.
God, that is so true. Sneeze, cough, or laugh. Done, man. Done.
We should name this episode Bathroom Talk.
Bathroom talk, for sure. So after I scared the shit out of Ashley and she got mad at me and then she got over it, you went to get some
We went to
liquor.
go get food because we were hungry at that point.
No,
we
not
went
yet.
and got ice. Remember,
Yeah.
you went downstairs to go get ice.
We got ice for the liquor and we picked up food on the way. And
No.
then we made it back to
You
the
went.
hotel
You
room.
went by yourself to go get something out of the car, and you ran into Jim.
What? Mm-mm. We went to go get food and liquor, which is where we got the strawberry margaritas.
You're
Then
right.
We realized we needed ice. I left my wallet in the car, and
You're
then
right.
there was something else that I
You're
had
right.
to go back
You're
and
right.
get.
We did go get food and liquor. Came back, and
then we were like, we need ice.
we need ice.
Because I couldn't carry it all. And Ashley was already, I'm already in my jammies and my bra is off. Which means, bitch, you're doing it.
Right.
So I went downstairs to get the ice. And Jim was on his second tour after us. And they were coming up about the dining room, which is right after.
Pretty much the end of the tour.
Yeah, it's like before. Well, it's right before they go down to the tunnels.
Yeah.
But it's right next to the Cascade restaurant, which is where we had to get the ice because the ice machine was broken. So I get down there and I tell Jim, like, hey, I got to tell you what happened. He's like, he stops. He's super excited. He's like, oh, what happened? I said, well, we came back from the tour and our bathroom sink was on full blast. And he stops for a second. He goes, well, what floor are you on again? And I said, the second in room 201. And he said, well, that's not Miss Wilson. That's kids. And he's like, wow. He's like, occasionally we get kid activity on the second floor, but nothing to that extent. He's like, that's absolutely children.
So while you were gone, Ashley and I were in the room together, and Ashley, who I couldn't believe, says, I want to do the Lollipop Experiment and see if I can get Lucy.
Yeah. So I'm holding the lollipop in my hand, and it starts twisting in my hand and leaning over to where physics would make that lollipop fall over.
Right.
Like, there's no way when it's sitting there at a 45-degree angle, it's not going to fall over because gravity.
So we actually have video that we'll put on our Facebook of those things happening with Ashley. So Ashley has that going on. She's freaking out. She's like, hey, can you see it? Can you feel the energy? I'm trying to record it. And we thought it was Lucy. We kept kind of trying to talk to Lucy. And then I said, Ashley, I don't think this is Lucy. I think this is kids. And it wasn't 2 seconds later.
As the moment you said that, it flipped over.
It flipped over. Elena busts through the door full of like, oh my God, I got to tell y'all something. And what was it that you had to tell us?
Jim said it was kids.
Yeah.
And I just got it out of my mouth that we thought it was kids.
Yep. Yeah. I walk, the video, you'll see it, but the video I walk in, and at this point, Ashley's like, let's record it. We decided to start recording things when we first walked into the room at that point because things kept happening when we were out the room. So we recorded it. She's like, okay, tell me what you're going to tell me. I was like, so I was just downstairs. I was just with Jim, and he said, it's not Miss Wilson, it's kids. But before I even said it's kids, Ashley said, it's kids. At the exact same time, I'm like, it's kids!
Yeah, that was a pretty awesome experiment.
So then we decided to go ahead with the Ouija board after that, right? To confirm, is this kids or is it not? So we get the Ouija board out. We do our little protection stuff. And then we end up getting someone on the board named Paul. But Paul, I don't think it was Paul the caretaker in the concert hall because Paul said that he was a 7-year-old kid.
Right. I think this is a kid for
we
sure.
also have footage of our Ouija board, seance experience, that we'll post. But he's a 7-year-old boy named Paul. I did read Haunted Ghost Stories of the Stanley, and I did keep a certain name out of that. Like, I didn't read to the girls just in case that name came up on the Ouija board. You guys don't know because it didn't, but a girl named Rebecca was who I was hoping to kind of get on the board.
Oh, okay.
But no Rebecca ever came through. But there was a story about a kid who got lost in Estes Park, and his name was Edwin, I believe.
Alfred. I think.
Alfred. Yeah, his name was Alfred. And Paul does bring up Alfred in the Ouija board. Does say the right age, which I believe was 4. Sorry, guys, it's been a little bit because we've had so much going on. But does say that Edwin is looking for his mom, but there is an adult who is with him. And I think we know the name of the adult.
Yes.
She showed up earlier in the spirit box as Bridget, but it was very, very calm Bridget.
Yeah.
And then she showed up again later in the spirit board.
And we didn't catch it the first time until we went back and was listening to one of the recordings. And Lena was like, oh my gosh,
We got Bridget earlier that
We
day,
got
too.
Bridget earlier in the day
Mm-hmm.
because the second time she comes around, she definitely wanted us to know it was her.
Yes, she did.
So yeah, that was really cool that the two things ended up correlating
Mm-hmm.
together.
Oh, and then I think Paul did state that Lucy was there in the Stanley, that she does roam the hallways,
Yeah.
that there are adults who look after the children, that some children don't know if they've passed.
Right.
Because these are questions that we asked, and we got yes or no's. The only weird thing that was about Paul on the Ouija board was at first she started to spell his name, it went to P, it went to A, and then it went to no when we asked him what his name was. And then we talked to him for a little bit longer. We asked him how old he was. He said 7. And then I think it was after a certain amount of time that he was responding back to answers, and he spelled out other names. I can't remember what they are now, but he did spell out other people's names. And I said, don't you think it's a little weird that you can spell, but you don't know how to spell your name? And then it spelled out Paul.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Take it for what it's worth. It seemed a little deceitful in the beginning. I don't know if it was shy or deceitful. I never got a bad vibe from it.
I didn't get a bad vibe from anything on the Ouija board. We closed the Ouija board, closed the circle, and then we ended up doing the spirit box, where I went into the hallway, kind of in between the hallway and the bathroom, and you guys were in the other room.
We were in the bedroom on the bed.
I had the spirit box with me.
Mm-hmm. And you had headphones
And
on.
I had headphones on, so I couldn't hear y'all. Apparently, and y'all were asking questions, and I was just relaying what and how I heard certain words. And in the, as soon as I heard it, I would say it out loud, hopefully loud enough that y'all could hear me because I couldn't hear you. And apparently, answered some of y'all's questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but unfortunately we didn't record it.
I know. Wish we
So
would have.
what were the things that we asked? Mind you, Mom was completely deaf. She could not hear anything that
Right.
we were saying. What?
I thought we did record it.
No, we
No, we
didn't.
didn't record this one.
Because
We're
the spirit
learning,
box
guys.
is
We're learning.
the spirit box is just so
Loud and staticky.
loud. It would be awful to listen to in the podcast. But maybe we should have, just so you guys can actually.
But she had the headphones on.
But
if we recorded it, then they're hearing that. Oh wait, yeah. Why didn't we record it?
I thought we did. I thought
maybe
I
it's on
set
somebody's
it up.
phone. We recorded on so many different objects.
It might be recorded. If it's not, then here's what happened. The things that I remember is that Mom had said house at one point, I believe. And we said, how many are here with us? And it said many.
Too many.
Too many.
I
That's
do
right.
remember.
Aggressively.
I do
Yeah.
remember that.
And she tried to say the things with the same inflection.
Right.
So when we said, how many people are in the Stanley right now with us? And Mom said, too many.
Yeah.
Very aggressively. And we're like, oh. And then we said, is there Alfred here? And you said, want Mom, or something like that. And then we said, it did confirm at one point kids was in the room. And then it was some kind of thing, like some things that you seemed even confused on yourself. You're like, house, you didn't seem very confident in it either. But it did seem, and this is an experiment. It was our first time, and I think that we absolutely need to do it again because some of the things that you answered were just exactly what we were asking. It was crazy because I think I said, "Is there a little boy in here?" And you said, "Boy." I said, "Are you missing?" And you said, "Mom," or something like that. I can't remember, but there was some yeah, we'll have to find the recording. But I think at least out of the 10 questions we asked, I think 4 of them were answered directly. And that was enough for me to be like, we got to do it again.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a good experience. It was the first time we ever did it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I can only hear on my end, so that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
So after the spirit box,
we were so tired. We were so drained.
We got really tired. We stopped doing the experiment that way, and we're laying on our beds, and got the spirit box back out just to see what we could hear, or to hear what we could hear. I guess is proper. I don't know. Anyway, and so one of the, we kept asking if there was a female there, and a voice very distinctly came across and said, "Bridget." And we were like, "Oh wow, okay, well, Bridget's here." I said, "I like you." I remember saying that, and I think this may be recorded somewhere, but
Yeah, I think so.
I like you, Bridget. And we got a few other things on the spirit box, and we do have some of that on recording, and I'm sure Elena will insert some as well. But right after that, I started not feeling great, and I started getting this rash on my neckline.
Yeah.
Right, around the collar line, I guess, if you will, on the bottom part of my neck. And it was hives. I mean, it broke out in hives. It was so itchy. It felt like it was on fire. It was horrible. And I thought, okay. And then I started getting a really bad migraine, which I get. I have ocular migraine. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm allergic to one of the trees out here. And now it's kicked off a migraine, so I'm not feeling that great. But it just kept getting worse and worse. The rash was worse. The headache was worse. Then I got nauseous. Then I got complete vertigo. I was getting really hot. What I didn't realize, because I've really never had it react that way, was that I was being personally attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And that was evident throughout the night. I couldn't sleep. I opened that window completely up, and I was on the side by the window. I opened that window completely up. It was 30 degrees or something outside.
Yeah,
I could not get cold enough. Like, I was going to go stand on the roof. Like, I was that hot. But I was so vertigo-ish that I couldn't make it. So again, it was so apparent because the minute we left the property, we were maybe a mile down the road. Bam, totally better. Rash went away. No headache, no vertigo. I felt fine.
You felt like normal Annabelle.
Totally normal.
Normal, crazy Annabelle.
Yep. That's me. And so that just led me to believe that I was being attacked, even though we did the protection spell. But at the same time, I started feeling bad. Y'all got so tired.
I was just going to say, I was wondering if you were going to talk about what happened that night while we were sleeping.
Yeah. So you guys totally were just,
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Elena, but it was like an exhaustion that I've only felt like when my kids haven't slept for 6 days.
Yes.
Like, I felt like we had walked 25,000 miles, hiked up a mountain. We hadn't slept in days and days and days, and I could not.
And we cried the whole time because I felt emotionally drained too.
Yeah.
I was just tired.
We were exhausted.
Yeah, like bad enough that you guys didn't want to stay up. We were going to do the Ouija board again, and you guys didn't want to stay up to do it. You were like, let's just take a nap. And I think we set our clock for midnight. And it was it was hard to wake y'all up, but we did the Ouija board. We're gonna get to that in a second. But at 3 a.m, which is the devil's hour, right? Y'all are out. And let me tell you, two bitches, y'all only talk to each other in your sleep. You know how I know this? Because y'all over there really talking to each other. I think you're awake.
Oh.
I'm asleep, dead asleep, right? You ever get that sensation somebody's watching you?
Yes.
And like when your kid at 3 years old is sitting beside your bed just staring at you creepily. That's how I felt. So I popped up, and there was a black shadow figure right beside my bed, in between our beds, but it was apparent more on my side, of a little boy about 3 to 4 years old. And I shot up, saw it, looked at it, and said, "Fuck! Can't do that to me." And I went back to bed, like, covered my head. And then I peeked out again. Y'all two are still mumbling to each other. So I'm like, "Did y'all see that? I'm so sorry. Did I wake y'all up?" Nothing. Y'all started snoring again. I'm like, well, did y'all even hear me? Nope.
Every time we go to a haunted location, me and Ashley sleep like a rock. Like, you cannot wake us. And you're the second person now to tell us that we sleep talk while we're there. In a conversational way.
Yes, that we talk to each other in our sleep.
Yeah.
You got to record this next time.
Because it's punity.
Punity. Forever and ever.
Yeah, so I screamed fuck really loud, and y'all didn't even, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No,
Not at all.
Nope, don't remember it all.
But
In
the
fact,
little boy went away.
I woke up at like 12:01 on my own, popped my eyes open, looked at Mom, was like, "Are we going to the Ouija board?" And she's like, "I've been trying to wake y'all."
Yeah, I have been trying to wake y'all up at midnight. I've been trying to wake y'all
Yeah,
up.
I don't remember anyone ever trying to wake me up at all.
I
I remember Elena going, "Are we going to do the Ouija board?" I think that's what woke me up.
Because of punity.
Okay.
Forever and ever.
Oh my God, So, we did the Ouija board again, right? And we got some good things, and some of that's on the recording. Again, we talked to the little boy, Paul, and whatnot. But you guys were just drained. It drained us all the way, physically for me, and emotionally. more emotionally for you guys. And at first I thought, well, maybe I'm just having altitude sickness or something like that, because they're pretty high up. I don't remember what the elevation is, but I live in Idaho. My property that we have in our mountain
I think it was around the same 6,000.
Around 6,000. Yeah, what did you say? 6,000 feet in elevation, and I think it's around the same. So it shouldn't have affected me. You know, as far as altitude sickness, Ashley would have been more affected, you would think, than anybody. But
Right.
yeah, the minute we left the property, I was fine. Mm-hmm. It's so strange.
You know what we didn't talk about was the fact that I was vibrating in all the pictures.
Yes. We'll have to post those and let people, because you can clearly see every picture we took in, like not even in the same location, right? It's just various pictures.
And then you'll take another picture that doesn't have me, and you look in that top right-hand corner, and it's fine. It's not like there was a smudge on the camera or anything, because it'll be a picture of us, and I'm blurry, and then another picture of the scenery, nothing blurry, and then the next picture, I'm in it again, and I'm blurry again.
Yeah. Insane.
Well, Stanley was a lot of fun.
I loved it. I would totally go back.
And I want to go to 217.
Yeah, I do want to go to 217. I also would like to stay on the 4th floor, though, just to get that experience as well.
Maybe we do 2 nights. We do 217, and then we do the 4th floor.
We could ask. Night. Yeah, ask.
We could just book it. You can book the room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we can ask.
Wasn't that one room, though, on the 4th floor super expensive? Because remember that young couple was in the tour with us?
Any of the quote-unquote haunted rooms are expensive.
Oh, they're more expensive.
Yeah.
Because we offered to change rooms with her, and she was like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she was down.
Yeah.
But she didn't want to be there, but her boyfriend was super into it, and he's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, okay, come on, man.
I really wanted to run into them the next morning and see, how it went. Yeah.
But we saw people leaving in the dead of night. Remember? They had suitcases, they loaded their cars, they were gone.
Yeah.
The Stanley is an amazing place. The staff was really great. I liked the souvenir shop. I like a lot of the history stuff that they let you know about Stanley, and also just the area. So, and it's just beautiful. There's nothing compares to that I've ever been to.
No, absolutely gorgeous. 10 out of 10.
Well, speaking of that, let's rate. Are we ready to rate?
I feel like it's just easy.
Scale of 1 to 5.
5.
5.
Everything.
5
Food.
for sure.
I mean, yeah, I'd give it a 5.
I was gonna be like, bitch!
Name one thing that could have been better.
Right?
Maybe if I had to be super selective, the rooms are a little boring in decor.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But they're comfortable and they're clean.
They were comfortable. They were clean. However, know ahead of time that if you're going to stay in the summer, there is no AC in that building.
That is
not.
No,
there's no AC in that building.
Mm-mm. I'm sure that there's
Maybe that's why the windows open up all the way.
Right. I'm sure there's a few days out of the year where it's pretty warm. People like me, I have to be freezing to go to sleep.
We are currently in Annabelle's house, and I have a blanket on. It's 50 degrees in this house right now.
I know, it's not cold enough.
I am shivering.
I'm always hot. I have extra insulation, so.
So do I. I'm freezing.
Well, you live in Texas.
That's true.
Not me. I'm a skinny mini.
So that's our
positive thoughts.
That's right.
Okay, so definitely 5 out of 5 all the way around. The food was great. The whiskey was great that I had in the bar. Y'all had cocktails too, right?
I did. I just don't remember what I had, unfortunately, but it was good.
This whiskey we're drinking now is amazing as well.
Yeah.
I like this cocktail.
I didn't drink there because remember I was going to drink at night, but then by the time that we got back with all the alcohol, I just was like.
That's right, because we had bought like strawberry margarita, the pre-made stuff, because we just didn't want to like be carrying around because we're flying back the next day.
Yeah.
There was no way we were gonna be able to finish like a bottle of liquor on our own, so we got the pre-made strawberry margaritas, which just gave me really awful heartburn, and then some shots which we didn't take at Stanley. So the next morning, I was like, I'm going to take them all. And I think I was drunk at like 9. It was really for funsies. I don't have a problem, guys. It just was like, what are we going to do with them? Throw them away?
I can't waste alcohol. That's
or
alcohol
a day
use.
drink.
I feel like you're an alcohol hoarder. You can't give it up.
I still put it away, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
All right, guys. Any last comments or thoughts about anything before we say goodbye?
No, it was a really great trip. I love the Stanley. I'd love to do it again.
I think we definitely need to do it again.
Don't pet the elk.
Don't pet, or don't go close to the elk.
It's not a petting zoo.
It's not a petting zoo.
But if you see someone going near the elk,
Get your phone out.
Get your phone out.
Video, Ashley,
Yeah,
video. Put
next
it on
time.
video
I got
mode.
some good pics. So I got some good pics.
Or at least Snapchat.
No, I'm not
No, because it
Snapchatting.
disappears.
Oh,
Create evidence.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to work Snapchat.
Pixar didn't happen.
Don't pet the murder deer.
Right. So yeah, definitely a 5 out of 5. I want to give a shout out to Jim. We don't know his last name, but the tour guide that we had, he was amazing. So if anybody at the Stanley's listening to this, he does a great job. Give that boy a raise.
Tip your tour guide.
Tip your tour guides. Hey, that is actually a good advice.
That is good advice.
Yeah.
Jim was great.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, one of the best.
We love you, Jim.
Yeah. Top 2 for me for Jim.
Yeah, same.
Alright guys, it's Elena, and that just about wraps up our last episode. Make sure that you check out our Facebook group where we post videos, outtakes, and paranormal photos.
And that, my friends, was a solid 3-star shit show.
Cheers to that.